Hello, my name's Andrew, and today we're doing a first impressions review of the TOETEM BLACKBEAR. These are a lightweight barefoot sandal for hiking and trail running, and I've been wanting to review them forever because they have a really good design, good toe box, high quality materials, and handmade in the USA. However, when I finally got my pair to test, it's like still cold in upstate New York, so I've been waiting for the past few days to like go out on a hike and a trail run, but it just wasn't happening, so the other day, I just decided to go out. I was just like, screw it, I really want to test them. And yeah, they were great. It was a little bit cold, a little bit brutal at first, but especially if a leather sandal like this, I feel like my feet kind of warmed up after a while and they were just like a pure joy for hiking and trail running. So we're gonna talk about that, but first let's just take a look at the features. So up front, you have a extra wide toe box. I love this shape. They have this kind of slanted design here, which I think looks really cool. It has this sort of like, I don't know, Roman, like Greek sandal look to it, but definitely extra wide width. And I don't have any problems with this as someone with a medium width foot. It still works really well for me, especially just because of how light and flexible it is. It doesn't feel clunky or anything. In terms of the strap, it's got a huarache strap here. Really soft, very smooth and silky with the material here. And then this material is also extremely soft, very comfortable. There's no rubbing anywhere on the sandal, all the way around the straps, on the posts, anywhere. This is something that I've had a problem with in other brands, especially with the post here, because they tend to make it out of like a really hard material sometimes. So this is a great compromise because you've got this like medium flex here. So it gives you a little bit of support for doing some more rocky, unstable stuff, but it's not hard, it's not uncomfortable whatsoever. And all the edging is just soft. There are no hard edges anywhere along the sandal. In terms of fitting, like I literally didn't have to do anything to adjust this sandal. Every other sandal I've had to kind of like tweak here and there, but I don't know, when I got it, it just seemed set up right away. And all I did, I just took the top off and then I slipped my foot in the back. You can move yourself forward and backwards with this strap here. And then just get a little bit more snug fit on the top depending on how tight you like the sandal to be, or if you're going on more rugged terrain. It was super easy. I think you can even just slip down the back if you want to, if you don't want to even bother taking off the Velcro. So yeah, it was great. I do love the logo here. TOETEM has one of my favorite barefoot logos of all time. Let's see if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see because it's getting covered up by the strap. There we go. It's kind of got this like Lord of the Rings vibe, which I love. In terms of the footbed, this one is all leather. They've also got a hemp option if you want more vegan materials, which is awesome. It's a little bit more glossy, so I found that it was kind of wet when I was going out for my hike and trail run, and it shed water really well. I found it to get a little bit slippery if like the whole sandal was coated. Like I went through a stream at one point, and if you're going up and down steep hills, I find that, yeah, it could get a little bit slippery. So I think this is a good sandal for like medium wet to dry type terrain. But the benefit of a leather like this is that it was really easy to dry off. In terms of the sole, it's 5mm and is extremely flexible in all directions. It's got a vibram sole. So vibram is excellent for grip and durability. It's just the best rubber in the world, which is why a lot of sandal companies use them. And this sole in particular, I think it's the New Flex. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what this is. And I like it because it's got this kind of like up and down tread pattern. So because you've got sort of like the triangles there, you get some really good horizontal flex. But then it also helps, when you're going up and down hills to just give you a little bit of grip in there. Yeah, it's like a semi-aggressive tread, so it's good for dry terrain, it's good for slightly wet terrain. I think if it gets too wet and steep, like a really steep muddy hill, then you probably want something a little bit more aggressive than this, but it's probably the most versatile sole if you're gonna use it for just all kinds of different stuff. And just a couple other things about TOETEM, you can get 10% off by paying with Bitcoin, which is pretty cool. And also, even though they're handmade, like these came in less than a week and their current lead time is like 4 to 6 days, which is super fast for a handmade sandal. And when I got them, it just felt like they were like hot off the press. I could still smell like the glue from putting the sole together, and it kind of like dispersed after the first day, but it just was like, I don't know, I just got the sense of like love, put into the sandal, like that this thing had just come from a human being as opposed to like a factory line, which is really cool. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that they do have different thicknesses. This one's a 5mm, but you can also get an 8mm and a 14mm if you need a lot more protection. All right, so in terms of alternatives, this is the DLD Perception, and Deliberate Life Designs makes custom sandals, so you can send in the exact foot tracing that you want, which is what I did with these, and I got this nice extra wide toe box, pretty similar to Totem in terms of the shape and the width, which I really like. They've got this, they've got multiple footbed options, but this one I really like because it's better for wet terrain. It's got some nice texture here, but it's very grippy, almost sandpapery like. But then when you get it wet, the water sheds off really nicely. It's got a huarache strap as well, a bit more of like a cord design here, which I also found to work really well. Neither sandal really rubbed anywhere. And then it's got a slightly less padded strap, but again, it's very smooth. I didn't find this to rub anywhere. And then the strap setup is a little bit more minimal, so I didn't need to adjust this really at all once I got it dialed in, and you can just kind of slip the back down. I would say that Totem gave me just slightly more security, but both sandals are really good, and I find that huaraches in particular are really great for trail running because they keep your foot from sliding around. In terms of the sole in this one, DLD also has multiple thicknesses, but this is the 7mm, so it's kind of like a nice in-between option that gives you a little bit more protection, but still a ton of flexibility, and they use that same New Flex, if I'm getting it right, material. All right, next up we've got the Sha Warriors, and if you're someone like me who has a medium width foot or maybe a wide foot, not quite extra wide, then Sha would be a good brand because they've got lots of room, really nice toe shape, but it's just not extra wide. And then in terms of the footbed material, I really like this again for wet terrain. It's kind of similar to the DLD Perception because it's got some nice texture, but then it is a synthetic material, so it sheds water really well. It doesn't absorb it whatsoever. In terms of the strap system, this is what I was talking about earlier with a post system that feels just a little bit hard. So what I did was I actually took an old glove and I cut off the finger and then I slipped it over the post, and so you just get a little bit of extra padding, and I found that kind of solved the problem. But it is nice to have a sandal like Totem where you don't have to do anything to it. It's got a similar strap system to Totem with the Velcro, but Sha does give you an extra power strap that you can buy for the top just to give yourself a little bit more security if you're doing some like really fast trail running. Maybe if you're doing a race or ultra or something like that, you just don't want your foot sliding around. You're going on really steep, unstable terrain. So this is definitely the best lockdown for any sandal brand I've tried. I think most of the time it's not necessary if you're just doing regular trail runs, but it is nice to have. And then in terms of the sole, same sole as the other ones, super flexible. Again, this one's 5mm, so it's very similar to the Alpha Blackbear. And then finally, we've got the Monk Sandals Rivo, and I really like this one because it's also got an extra wide toe box, really nice shape to it. But then if you want something that's a little bit more casual and you don't want to feel something between your toes, they've got the cross strap here. So it's a little bit better for casual, but it still works for trail running if you're not doing anything too steep or crazy. One feature I love about Monk sandals is that they've got the buckle here. I don't know why, but it's just like so addictive to have a sandal with a buckle. And because they've put this part in front of it, you don't really feel the buckle at all. So it's never something that's bothered me. And then in terms of the heel, you can easily slip this down. So it's another reason why it's a really great casual sandal. It doesn't have as good a lockdown as the other sandals, especially because it's a cross strap, you know, like you just don't get the side to side stability that you do in the other one. So it's also a great hiking sandal. And then in terms of the sole, again, super flexible, vibram sole, very grippy. And Monk's also another company that hand makes their sandals, so yeah, they're really cool. All right, so those are some good options for lightweight barefoot sandals for hiking and trail running, but if you want to support the channel, you can shop with the referral links down below, browse and filter more products at my website, barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the Totem Alpha Blackbear or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, catch you next time, peace!